So there's barriers to creativity. And one of the barriers to creativity, or some of the barriers to creativity, are here on this page. And one of the biggest ones is looking for the right answer, like there is only one right answer. And that's typical of convergent thinking, where convergent thinking is the logical, solutions-oriented, A leads to B leads to C, serial thinking that is taught to us in school. And when we're little kids, we don't know how to think in a convergent, sequential thinking, logical thinking process. And a lot of what school is all about is teaching us how to solve problems and think in a logical fashion. But sometimes that can be counterproductive. You can actually be too logical in many respects. You need to have the ability to depend on divergent thinking, or to incorporate divergent thinking, the creative thinking, left brain, right brain stuff into your thinking process. You've got to be careful about blindly following rules and processes that have been laid down without understanding how and why they got laid down and when to break them. You have to know when to break the rules and be willing to break the rules. Constantly being practical may not be the best way to go about things. A lot of times having play and frivolous moments can be very enlightening, and you want to try to avoid becoming too overly specialized. We live in a world, unfortunately, where specialization tends to be the direction, especially in some professions like the law and medicine and other things, and even engineering. You can't know everything about everything, so you specialize. But that's one of the reasons why networking and association becomes so important. Avoiding ambiguity. Ambiguity can be your friend. Ambiguity challenges you to find new ways to solve things, or stretches you to figure out solutions. Afraid of being foolish. That's certainly a big one. Nobody really likes to appear foolish, but being willing to make mistakes and somehow be maybe potentially perceived as being foolish is, they kind of go together. You have to be capable of understanding that mistakes are part of the process of creativity. Just they're inherently connected. And another barrier to creativity is really just fundamentally thinking that, I'm not creative. You don't think of yourself as a creative person, and that can actually inhibit your ability to be potentially, generate solutions and suggestions that end up, a large part of creativity in the group process may not even be formalized, but it's equivalent to brainstorming. We're going to have a slide. We're going to talk about brainstorming as a specific task or activity here in a few minutes. But when you've got a group of people working on a problem, there's a lot of brainstorming that goes on in an informal way where people toss out ideas. And you've got to be able and willing to toss out ideas, even if the idea that you think you're tossing out might be foolish, because it can be the kernel of an idea that somebody else takes and finds the actual solution, or it might flip around and they toss out something and you think of the right solution. So don't be afraid of trying things.